Oh, okay. Thank you everyone for joining us today. It's really great seeing everyone at our fifth event. I'm really glad to have Silu today, and we will learn a lot about her and about her journey, and also about the entrepreneurial landscape. So my name is Andrea, and I'm External Relations Officer at Qfinity, focusing on cross-border tech expansion between China and ASEAN. At Women in Power, we are here to discuss about building a diverse and inclusive environment for Asian tech community. And we will discuss about entrepreneurship, investors, and also try to create an environment that is inclusive and safe for everyone, including students, connectors, and women in STEM. We have lined up a variety of events. We will have interviews, panels, workshops, and networking sessions, and more events like this one from today. We are here today to talk with Silu Cao, which is the COO and co-founder of Founders Lair, one of our partners. And as our guest, she will discuss about her career path, entrepreneurial journeys, and opportunities for everyone in China and Asia. And she will also discuss about the startup industry in this area. And particularly, we are going to dive into HICO, which is a competition for startups, a global competition for startups. And it will be a really great opportunity to learn more about the competition itself and about the importance of startups being in such ecosystems and taking advantages of these opportunities. So we will talk about her journey leaving one of the big fours in Singapore and then venturing to Latin America, where she was quote unquote homeless, and I cannot here to learn about that. And we will also discuss about the frequent problems and challenges that startups face, as well as understanding the perspective of working as a female in co-founding teams, which she is a part of. She's the only co-founder member that is a female in at Founders Lair, and I cannot wait for her to share with everyone about it. So I will like to first of all have an introduction about our partners. So Qfinity, which is a China-ASEAN focused cross-border accelerator, which helps international talents enter China and Chinese technology enter the Southeast Asian market through talent incubation, technology lending, and acceleration services. And we are currently serving the largest tech incubator in China, and also leading an incubation program to empower international digital youth entrepreneurs from top university. Then we have Founders Lair, which I'm sure Silu will give a much better introduction and give us all the details. They aim at creating growth opportunities for trusted members of global innovation ecosystem. And Mea Ovum, which is a Bangkok-based startup which aims at connecting ambitious professional women with the best egg freezing clinics in Thailand. So I would like to start up the conversation by asking Silu to give us a quick overview of her career path. How did you start working in Singapore? How did you end up there? And then what led you to decide, okay, I want to venture in a whole different world and be an entrepreneur, travel around and experience everything that you've done. And yes.
Thank you, Andrea, for having me here, and also thank you, Qfinity, for inviting me to the event. Yeah, and hi everyone in this chat. I'm Silu, so I can dive a little bit more on my career path. So I'm Chinese. but I had my major of my education back in Singapore for quite a while. And then I came from finance and accounting background in university. So it was kind of natural that I started my career as an auditor in KPMG, Singapore. I was there for 3 years. And then along the way, I realized that, that was not really a long-term thing for me to continue as in the finance industry. And also that it was, I think most of people know that it was very hectic in Big Four. I was reaching to the limit, so I decided to leave. But I wasn't really sure what next to work on. So I somewhat applied for Olympic in Rio. So after I left Singapore, I continued to volunteer for the Olympic in Rio in Brazil. I joined the Olympic and Paralympic. I was doing translation for the gold medalist during the games. And that was one of a lifetime experience. It was very inspiring. I can dive a little bit more onto that later. And I also thought that crossing the whole world and arriving at South America was probably something that I can only do once in my lifetime, and also leaving my job without a next job. So I kind of thought about staying a bit longer in South America. So I backpacked by myself in South America. I was traveling there for like 4 months. And then before going to South America, I was already deciding to come back to China because I feel that the life back in Singapore, also because of the nature of my work there, it was very stable, and you can actually look through into the next 20 years how life's going to be. And I was a bit bored by that. So I thought, China was growing so much. And also when during my absence in China, things changed a lot. So I wanted to go back and see and embark on some different journeys there. So I came back to China, and due to different opportunities, I was working as a consultant in corporate innovation consulting in a state-owned enterprise. And that's also where I met one of our co-founders, Yetta, our CEO back then. We were working there. I was working in this function, corporate innovation, for like 2.5 years. And we thought that it was a very interesting topic to work on, but we thought that there were certain things in that this whole topic was not done in the most efficient way. And then he started off this startup idea first and founded Founders Lair. And I joined at a slightly later stage, even after Fabian, who is also in this chat. So I was the last one who joined the co-founding team and closed off this founding team combination. And then I'm currently looking after the operation and finance function in Founders Lair. And then this is also why I'm here today and speaking to all of you. Yes, Fabian joined 1 year before me. Yeah, he has much older experience than me in Founders Lair.
That's great to hear. And Fabian is also the founder of Mea Ovum, so it's really great to see him joining us today as well. And so you've worked in KPMG before, and it's great to hear that you've decided to venture in a whole different world. And we would love to actually hear more about your experience in Brazil and at the Olympics. I think that's one of the milestones that has defined your entrepreneurial spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I probably just follow the points of questions here, right? So the first one, the reason why I left KPMG was, so first off, I have to say working in KPMG was actually one of the best decisions I've ever made upon leaving the university, because it was just natural for me to pick the Big Four to work for because I came from accounting and finance background, and also that working in the Big Four as a starting career journey was give me the benefit of working with one of the top clients in the world. It gives you a lot of big overview about also how business are being run in a financial perspective. It's actually not very often that at the starting of your career, you are able to see how does a business work in a full spectrum of finance. And then that gave us a lot of training to be able to in this kind of work in this kind of environment. But along the way, I realized that the work of auditing or the service of auditing was quite done manually. And I kind of felt that it's kind of easily replaceable by AI. So that demotivated me a bit in thinking what I should do in 20 years' time. And also auditing gives you this very retrospective looking kind of nature, because you're always investigating what happened in the past. You're always looking at what happened last year and see things. It's not really forward looking. So this is on a personal level, this is not something that I enjoy so much working on. Yeah, so that's why, you know, with the combination of reasons, I kind of left KPMG. In establishing startup community, so there was quite a bit of disconnection between leaving KPMG and starting a startup community. It was, like I mentioned, I was on a gap year. I was traveling around, I was wandering around. And then I just, you know, due to chances, I happened to get into the startup community. I think I wasn't really, I think I was chosen, but I didn't choose to actually come there. It was just, you know, I was lucky enough to be in this whole environment that I happened to know Yetta from the startup community through different events that I joined. And then the reason that we want to do that was also because we were working in corporate innovation in Innovate, the one of the SOE. And we thought that it was an interesting topic, but a lot of things were not done like super efficiently. And also this external innovation of large corporates that actually, we realized that it actually appreciates a lot of the resources, but how it was done, that the resources are not, you know, the resources there in the innovation ecosystem are being undervalued and mistreated in the traditional way of consulting, of executing innovation. So we thought further about setting up or developing tools to give more efficiency in tracking resources and also giving a fair price to resources. And that's why we thought about setting up this marketplace. But of course, this through evolution of many versions of ideas that it comes today. It was not the very first original idea. Yes, and then the startup community is actually that how you can leverage on in reaching out and giving out efficiency to the network and resources in the innovation ecosystem. Yes, and then about the future expectation of Founders Lair. So like I mentioned, for us, we think the resources are very important asset in the startup ecosystem. But currently, what we see in the market is it's being undervalued and mistreated. And what we are building is to give a platform to empower the fair price trading of resources, and also give a tracking to efficiency of networks and resources. And how we actually do it is by having or expanding our connector community. So we are actually not directly startup facing per se, but we are more connector facing, and the connectors are reaching out to the startup communities. And by doing this, we also build up this trust layer, because there are also a lot of mistrust in the whole ecosystem globally and locally. So we want to build up this trust layer by connecting the connectors together, and they will have the trusted empowerment to the startups. And this is how we actually reach out to the startup and help the startups reaching out to different resources. Yes. And then the problems and difficulties faced by startup founders. This is actually a very, very big topic. So for us, starting on the entrepreneurship journey, we realized that being an entrepreneur is about problem solving. So every day you are creating problems, and on the next day you're solving problems. It's never a very, how to say, pleasant journey. You have to be open-minded. You have to be, like be ready to embrace problems every day. And then every day you're just facing with different problems that comes up. It's not only about, yes, like Fabian said, some people create problems, some people solve problems. Yes, that's how the team complement each other. So you need to have very complementary nature of the team member in a co-founding team, so that you are working on your own strength and you are helping each other on your weakness. But ultimately, a startup journey or entrepreneur journey is about solving problems. I think that's the essence of it. Yeah. As the perspective of working as a female in co-founding team. Actually, for me, I'm not very, how to say, looking into so much gender of working in a startup. I think it's okay to be a female founder. It's also okay to be a male founder. I think it's just a traditional impression that tech world are more dominant by male founders. Or maybe the female founders are not voicing out each other, or they're not voicing out too much, or they're just not that visible. And for me, I feel that I'm very lucky that to be in a very, how to say, a welcoming team, that we really respect each other very well. For me, I feel, it's okay to be a female founder or male founder, as long as you're happy, you want to be an entrepreneur, you enjoy this whole journey, you are using your strength to deal with the problems, and you are complementing each other with your co-founders. Yeah, I think I'm not very into, gender versus entrepreneur and versus in the tech world. I think if you are happy, you enjoy this whole journey of being an entrepreneur, then you should just chase your dream. You should just go for follow your heart and follow your steps and work harder on that. I think there's still a lot of people who are very understanding in the ecosystem to be more welcoming for female founders. Yeah, for me, I didn't feel that being especially treated or mistreated in our startup, being the female founder. I think I had a bit of privilege of being a female founder here. I think, yeah.
That's really great to hear. I'm sure there's a lot of situations in which women face a bit more struggle or prejudice from other industry players, but it's really great to hear about your journey being positive, and we really stand and support men that are supporting women, because we also need that as well. So that's really great to hear. What would you say, we talk a lot about your journey in different countries. Now Founders Lair and Hiko is mainly focusing in China, but what do you see is the general trend around Asia and maybe around ASEAN also? If you have any point of view or opinion, what is the trend going to be like? How's the difference, and how can China empower the different countries across Asia as well?
Yeah, so about ASEAN countries, I think in the startup ecosystem, China now it's quite open-minded, and of course during during the COVID situation, on the international policies, things are not super in favor of getting international startup, facilitating international startup around. But I think it's not only about ASEAN countries, but in general, this is also what we want to do, is to build a transparency in the ecosystem, and also bring in high quality resources around and facilitate this, reaching out to resources around in the ecosystem. And for us, this is also why we are also doing a bit of quality check for us to get onto the project, the source of the projects. And from our platform, we work with connectors. We want to build up this trust because our connectors are the ones who are experts in the local ecosystem. And we distribute our resources to the connectors, and connectors can facilitate the resources to the relevant startups in their ecosystem. And by doing this, we build up trust, and also startups also are looking at trustable or trusted resources. And for us, China, even though this COVID, the foreign policy is not super in favor of international going in and out, but the government are still trying to attract foreign founders and foreign startups. Currently, a lot of things are happening online, but I'm sure that the government or the country are trying to prepare for, if the COVID is over hopefully in the near future, that things can still, being international or traveling around. And with the project we are working with Haiku, this is very international competition. They want to attract global startups who are in their different tracks of topics to come to China and then to do their entrepreneurship journey in China. And they are giving out a lot of support and policies in favor of international startups to actually set up their business in China. This is the second year that we are working with them. And last year, we actually also being their talent scout and working together on startup sourcing globally. We also had a lot of reach out to the resources in Southeast Asia, ASEAN countries. I think a general trend would be also ASEAN countries has a better knowledge about Asia, better knowledge about China, and this is also a closer distance. So we saw quite a lot of startups in the ASEAN countries as well last year, and then we also won the Scouting Award last year. And then we had very good relationship working with Haiku. And this year, that's why we want to bring Haiku competition again to more of the startups. And I do think that ASEAN countries should also keep an eye on the opportunities in China due to the distance, due to the similarity of culture. And I think this is a great opportunity. And also, if you want to ever come to China, Beijing and the capital are one of the probably the best gateways. And also the governments have higher incentives to give out. And then things are also more in place, the infrastructure and everything for you to start a business in China or expand your business in China. Beijing is definitely one of the best choice to start your journey in China.
That's really awesome to hear. And since we're already talking about Haiku, I wanted to give a heads up to everyone that Haiku registration is ending in 6 days. So get your chance to be a part of the competition. And maybe, Silu, you want to give us an introduction about Haiku and how it supports entrepreneurs across the world, and how does the platform work so that it takes advantage of the whole ecosystem and support?
Yeah, sure. Yes, so I actually have already touched on a little bit of the Haiku competition. So this is this global entrepreneurship summit. It's organized by the Beijing municipal government. And then this is the second year we are working with them. So we know that they are a good team of supporting staff to organize this entire competition. They have also a very good prize to give out for international startups. And so it's open to the global ecosystem. And they are looking for a very good quality startups worldwide to come to China and to set up your business. They are very, very well established and very organized. A whole panel of investors will be also joining different rounds of selection. And the good thing about Haiku is it's not only one competition of its own. It has a whole ecosystem to back it up. That if you join the competition, so they have different a pipeline in helping you to prepare to come to China. So you can, if you qualify for different levels of shortlisting and stuff, you eventually go for their highest prize that you can win, and then also settle down in China with a lot of their assistance. For those people who might not be so lucky to hit the final prizes, they also have the business school to support the participants. They also have a whole network of VCs in China to give insights and also to support with potential investment opportunities. And then this is a very very well organized competition backed up by the government, and also a lot of support coming from the city government. So this is one of the good gateway to if you ever want to come to China for a startup journey. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And following up on that, what would you say that foreign startups can bring to China ecosystem? What are the things that foreign startups can add on to what the tech scene is already in China?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yes.
Again?
So my question is, the Beijing government really wants foreign startups to bring into the ecosystem and be a part of it. What do you think that these startups can bring to the ecosystem itself? What is missing, and how can what are their main we talk about opportunities, but what are the main qualities that they can bring into the whole ecosystem and support the China startup ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. So first, I think it definitely brings diversity in terms of understanding, in terms of working cultures, in terms of the business ideas and stuff. And of course, Beijing is very, the government itself has this international policy as well. And China also wants to be more international. We want to embrace more ideas, want to embrace more culture and diversity. And then also doing innovation, you need to be very open-minded. You cannot be always stuck in your own small group of people, always developing in the similar culture and stuff. We want to open up. We want to absorb more different ideas. We want to bring efficiency into our ecosystem. By doing that, you need to be, welcoming to different culture diversity. You need to be also absorbing different talents. So I would actually also say that most of the government competition is also about attracting talents, because this is how any country or any government is made up by talents. So, without new ideas, without talents, the society doesn't run on its own. So we want to use attractive prizes, good policies, supporting policies to attract talents to come back to China and also come to China. So coming back means, the returning Chinese, and then come to China is for pure foreigners to come to China to contribute to our overall ecosystem. So we want to take in ideas. We want to take in new ways of doing things. We want to bring more efficiency to the industry and also to the ecosystem and government. So this is a good timing where the government are still opened up, are still very open-minded in utilizing the different policies to attract people to come to China. And this also will benefit the local ecosystem, because there'll be a lot of exchange of ideas, a lot of exchange of cultures and diversities. Only there is this lively activities that happening in the ecosystem, that it will benefit everyone in the ecosystem. Yeah.
That's so amazing to hear. And on the line of that, you've had a lot of footprint across different continents. So you lived in Singapore, then China, the UK, and also Brazil, and backpacked in South America. How do you adapt to the cultural differences, and how did it help with your career mindset and also adapting to the startup ecosystem? Because I see you already touched point on the importance of having different cultures, but how did this help the knowledge help you in your own journey?
I think this is something that you do not see an immediate effect by being exposed to different culture before, or being exposed to different business before. So for me, I think all this different experience before was like a puzzle, or was like a jigsaw that makes up your entire career journey. For example, that I started my career in KPMG in the Big Four. Although there was a very, so being an auditor, it needs you to be more conservative, more prudent in approaching things, instead of being very open-minded and flexible thinking. So at that point of time, you feel that this is, you feel a bit stuck in the things that you're doing. But then on a longer timeline that you're looking at stuff, now I'm looking after operation and legal stuff. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't come from legal background, but because of my experience before, that being an auditor, you need to also touch on a bit of legal. You need to touch on a bit of, providing evidence in everything that you do, or even questioning certain things at different level. So it gives you the expertise and also sense of mindset to be able to contribute to my entrepreneurship journey now. That I have this natural risk-averse approach towards things. For my personal stuff, I'm a risk taker. You see that I was traveling and backpacking in quite exotic places. But in terms of business, I'm quite risk-averse because I was exposed to, different level of legal or compliance checking, and then also understanding different cultural. It gives you the opportunity or convenience in expanding to other markets on the light mode, that you have certain knowledge base or certain mindset that's already being trained before. Like, for example, currently our team is super global, and we are all working remote. We have already an office in Korea. We have an office in Singapore. Like I can say that in a few sentences that we are in different locations, but this requires a lot of operational and legal understanding or capacity behind to manage that and make sure that things are in place. And then, being able to expose, like having the privilege of being exposed to different culture before and different service line or business area before gives me this combination. I would say it's also kind of unique combination that we are able to contribute a good mixture of the current things I'm looking after. So it's very hard to say that knowing a different culture give you this tangible benefits. But things are all interrelated. It's all correlated in everything that you do. You are more. This is also in terms about hiring. When you speak to potential good talents, you're able to connect easily. You're able to understand from their point of view easily, and you are also and also diversity of your background also gives them more trusting feeling or trusting feeling of joining a startup. So it actually it contributes every single piece of the startup if you are working in being an entrepreneur. Yeah.
That's awesome, and it's good to hear that you have a global team and that you are able to work and balance working remotely everywhere around the globe. So that's really awesome. And Actually, let's dive into the homeless in Brazil part, because I bet everyone is still wondering what happened and how did you what was your experience? And yes, I think that's really interesting. So we can talk about that.
Yeah, to be frank, I was never homeless per se. I was actually, and up until now, I still feel very lucky that I was in this language service team in the Olympic and Paralympic, and that was the only team where accommodation were provided for all the volunteering team for the Rio Olympic in 2016. So I was never, I think it will not be so pleasant if I was ever really homeless in Brazil. That was not very safe. Yeah, but so I was volunteering for the Olympic and Paralympic, and for Olympic I was working in the diving stadium, and then for Paralympic I was working in the swimming stadium. So I mean, Olympic, everybody, you watch that on the TV, you get exposed to the game every 4 years. But for me, the Paralympic was also, back then in Rio, was also a first time exposure for me, because you don't really watch, you don't actually get much publicity about that. And I feel very lucky that I was in swimming. You got to see all the body impairments of all these athletes. And some of them lost their arms, some of them lost their legs, they have all different level of disability, and yet they were competing with each other in this international arena. And that was just super eye-opening and very inspiring. Yeah, and then that was the biggest highlights of my experience in South America. And the thing is, I thought that it would be, you know, a bit sad, a bit down on the backstage, but then people were all just smiling. They were cheering for each other. They were sharing about their stories with the journalists. And it was just so cool. You get to see people from all different countries, different nationalities, that you don't see many disabled people, you know, like so direct. And then yet they were swimming, they lost their arm, they can still swim. And when they hit the edge of the swimming pool, they were just using the head to hit it. And there was so many stories I can continue day and nights. Yeah, and I felt that the biggest takeaway was, you know, in life or work, in any parts of your life journey, there's nothing about whether you want to do it or not. There's nothing about whether you can do it or not. It's always about whether you want to do it or not. If your will is strong enough, you will make it happen. I think this was also indirectly influencing me in my journey after I came back from South America, you know, even more into my entrepreneurship journey. For me, I feel that I was actually not an entrepreneur by nature. I didn't feel that strong of calling of entrepreneur in me. But I mean, during this journey, things were very hard. Every day you're dealing with problems, and the next day you're dealing with more problems. The next day it's going to be just more problems. And a lot of time you feel demotivated, and you also fight with your co-founding team, you fight with your team members. There's just a lot of disagreements, and also you see sometimes things are not going in the way that you thought it would go. But I think that experience in the Paralympic actually gave me a lot of inspiration that, you know, when I'm down or when I'm in the low time, you know, it just come up naturally that you shouldn't give up things that easily. You should just try a little bit harder. If you want to do it, you just need to continue, and things will somewhat get back on track. And I think that was very inspiring. And then for also not only about, you know, my entrepreneurship journey, but also about my backpacking trip in South America. I think that, you know, this starting as a volunteer in the Olympic and Paralympic was also giving me a lot of confidence, and also a lot of perseverance to continue my journey in South America. because that was not the most convenient countries to travel around. And it was also not the most safest country to travel by yourself. There was a lot of hiccups on the way. But then to me, it was not only about sightseeing or traveling, it was also about whether you are able to do something that you wanted to do for a while and just keep it up and tried it and for a longer period of time, and that you are able to really fulfill something in your life that you thought that it was cool and you wanted to do it, but you were facing a lot of difficulties, and also creating some stories that you can bullshit with your grandchildren when you're old. And so that was that was a very cool experience in South America.
Wonderful, really, really great. And I'm sure everyone could imagine how that would feel and that would be. Enrique is asking already a question. I think we can dive into the questions already. So Enrique, would you like me to read the question, or do you want to open your camera and mic and ask it yourself? Or everyone that would like to ask a question, you can raise your hand and we will make sure to let you speak. For now, I will just read the question from Enrique. So in this point of your career, you consider you reached the success of, or you keep having goals that do not let you sleep at night. So yes, basically is how do you keep yourself motivated, and or do you find yourself that you are happy and content, or do you still have dreams that keep you up at night? I feel like you already answered in some certain way, but if you want to be more.
Yes. I think there's no absolute answer for this question. It's always about I think for me, I'm also always updating my goal, and I feel that I have never really reached to a point that I can say I'm successful. I think maybe only when I'm 80 years old, I look back and I say that that I was somewhat successful because I did what I wanted to do. I think the definition of success is not about achieving any tangible things. It's always in your mind that how do you define success? It's also about it's not about graduating from a top school is a success, or had a successful startup was a success. It's never. And this journey never has an end. And I do believe that be happy and do not regret for not doing something that you wanted to do is already a big path to success already. So this is always within your own definition of what is successful. For me, I feel that I don't easily achieve success, and I think I'm still too young to say that I'm successful or not yet. So it's not about any tangible things. It's about intangible. It's about your mind. And also for me, I always, have new goals when I'm closer to a success of a previous goal. And then I think in my mind that goal get updated again. And then I'm going a bit further onto stuff. So it's always, in your mind, and then you should define your own success.
Absolutely. I think that in some way we need to run ourselves as startups per se. So always innovating, always setting up new goals and new projects. Okay, we have the next question from Jarvis. Hi, Silu, do you have any recommendations for ASEAN entrepreneurship and startup expansion that would apply sustainably in their business model?
Okay. Do you mean business ideas, or do you mean Jarvis? Do you mean business ideas, or in a working culture, or in a team dynamic?
I think more as a yes.
Business ideas.
Business idea.
Okay. I'm not sure whether I'm able to give any business ideas because even for us as a startup, your startup journey starts with an idea, but it never ends on the same idea because an idea is an idea. It's not mature. I would say idea, it comes up suddenly, but then you need a lot of polishing of ideas. You need a lot of discussion about how things can be really worked out or planned out. So I cannot really give like ideas per se, but I would think also you should not. So this is for me, what I think of being an entrepreneur is you should not go around and collect ideas. The thing is, startup journey or entrepreneurship journey is a very hard journey. It's never easy. It's never that pleasant. You need a lot of motivation. You need a lot of interest to keep yourself going in that journey. So the idea or the things that you want to do or want to contribute, it must be coming from you. You must to have a very strong will in driving out or working out the ideas. So this is also what I think that was quite inspiring, that what Elon Musk was saying, that so there was this, I think it was a show or was an interview that the host was asking him to give advice to entrepreneurs, how to encourage or how to stay motivated. And he mentioned that if you need to be encouraged to be an entrepreneur, then try not to be an entrepreneur, because this whole journey is not pleasant. You will have sleepless nights. You will have worry every day. You'll deal with a million problems every day. So you need to be really interested. You need to have a strong will in solving some problem. Then you are able to continue that as a long journey instead of really for doing a business. So and also in the area of sustainability, it will touch on so many different sectors and industries. I'm sorry, I'm not able to have an idea to share this, and I also think that it will not be meaningful to share ideas for that topic or any topic.
Yes, I'm sure it's all about the mindset and how you are able to sell the idea, and not sell, but position in a way that it can transmit the value and the significance it had for you. So Fabian, you already asked this one just now. So you said you were not destined to be an entrepreneur. Do you have any ideas how people could know if you would like it, and what convinced you to make that journey? So you already answered by saying that if you feel you need to be motivated to be an entrepreneur, then don't be an entrepreneur. But how do you understand that it was the right fit for you, if in the beginning you felt like it wasn't your destiny?
I think so. In the first place, I was not planning to be an entrepreneur. So for me, I was how do I put it? I feel that inside me there was something that I wanted to do, and I want to drive out, that I want to work on something that I can build. I can be the part of the people who build it from scratch. But I didn't want that to be a reason of being entrepreneurs. I really wanted to, so I wanted things to happen naturally. If I met the right people, I came across the right problem to solve. And then it all felt right when you feel that, this is the thing you want to work on. So I didn't want to be an entrepreneur for the sake of being an entrepreneur and being in a startup. It all came naturally when me and Yetta was talking about things. We were sharing about the inefficiency of the things we were doing in the corporate innovation or in the bigger startup community at large. It just came out naturally that, your thoughts meet each other. And also the team that he has brought to me, or I feel that it's also complementing to each other, and also you need to meet the right people to be in the startup team. So he also was, you know, at one of the occasions he was sharing that being in the co-founder team is just like dating. You know, you need to speak on the similar values. You need to share similar values. You can have very different thoughts, but you need to have similar values. You are fighting with each other every day, but you have a foundation in understanding what's the right and what's the wrong. And having the right team combination is very important. And for me, there's no rules that you can follow. It's not like a checklist that you just tick and then you know this are the right people. You need to really feel it. You need to understand that you have complementary skills, complementary experiences, and you share the same values, and you are together on the same ship that you want to solve the same problems. And you have to know they are all nice people. For me, that I think that was the lucky thing. I was not really going around and trying to join a startup or trying to find a co-founding team. It all just came naturally, and I feel that it was also the right time to try out something. Because for me, this was not the first thing I started after I came out of university. So I had certain experiences on different background, and I had a bit of knowledge on certain stuff. I had some experience traveling around, seeing different parts of the world. I felt it was the right timing to, I felt also comfortable just starting that or joining that together. And I also think that the co-founding team, the people in the co-founding team are the people that I want to spend a lot of time with, that I enjoy talking, I enjoy fighting with them. They also respect me in a very positive way. So actually that gave me a lot of confidence in staying longer, or you know, working on something together bigger, or even a slightly different topic, turning from the very original ideas. So this is always about back and forth kind of interaction, that you feel that you are being respected, your voice are being heard, and they are also reflecting on our daily you know, conversations. You know, this is like a dating thing. You know, this is the right momentum, this is the right synergy in between the team, and you really enjoy talking to them or working with them. You would like to give up, you know, a good opportunity or work in the corporate or in any other places. And you know, when you have all these signs, you know that you are in a very healthy team or healthy relationship per se. Yeah, but for me, I never really follow any rules or checklist or any guidelines to pick this kind of decision making. It's all when you know it's the right time with the right people to join, you somewhat you will feel it. Yeah.
That's so nice. I really love your point of view. It's really awesome. Yes, dating and career advice from Silu. We can apply it to everything. And now we have actually a question about Hiku, which I think is very important. So Izuru asked, based on your past experience when joining Hiku competition, what are the main reasons for, that startups are failed to be qualified in general?
Oh, wait, where is I'm trying to find
it's in the Q&A session. I'm going to send it down below as well.
Okay, let's experience when joining Hiku competition. What are the main reasons that startups fail to be qualified in general? Okay, I think it has different. Again, I think to me there are also the standard answer. There are also the not so standard answer. I think the standard answer would be, you know, because they have the judging panels who are giving all the scores with their standards. So usually, you know, you have in a demo day or kind of similar setting, you have different areas to touch on for judging a project or a startup. You know, the market opportunities, you know, the founder's background, and also the how technical is the startup. You know, they have all these things being very objective to judge about a startup. But I think at the same time, there are also some, how to say, not really hidden, but I would say some human touch to judging of a startup. So in general, you can also try to consider from how to say, the human perspective. How would you judge a startup is good or not? This is like when you're talking to a people, when you're talking to a person, how do you judge them is by the tangible background and also the intangible interaction. You know, this is at the school where they graduate, you know, this is how they carry themselves. But at the same time, you also in the interaction, you know that how are they connecting with people. So it has many different areas to touch on, you know, whether your founder's background are relevant to the product you're building. From the background, does it show that if they have the right networks to expand their business? And also whether the topic of the service or the products you are working on is relevant to the local market of the competition, where the competition is held. Will that be beneficial? Or is it already existing products or services in the city or in the location? Then you probably lose a bit of advantage, right? And also, how much have you grown so far? Have you been generating revenues? So there are so many areas to touch on for a competition. Yeah, it's not only about haiku competition, but in most of the competition. And also, because you are joining a governmental organized competition, you have to also think from their point of view. The reason why government are giving out so much prizes, why are they you know, devoting so much or investing so much in organizing this big thing? Because of course they have their own governmental objective to fulfill as well, in terms of talent, you know, attracting talents, and also going a bit further, the tax payment, whether your business is going to soar in the next you know, short period of time, whether that can bring tax benefits for the local market. So there's a lot of things to consider than just the products or the services you are developing. So yeah, you need to be also opened up a bit of your mindset and thinking, and trying to understand the local policy, trying to understand the needy services and products in China or in Beijing area, whether that's meeting what they need or is that missing from the local market. Yeah, there's a lot of different reasons that you can consider.
Wonderful. I think it answers the question perfectly, and hope everyone can join Hiku as well. I think the last question we can answer, it would be the really important question from Fabian. Did you really fight a crocodile?
I wished I had. Yeah, so yeah, that was a regret. That was something that I could have done, but I was still not that brave, and I think that was also not very environmental friendly. The thing was, I was very lucky that I was able to travel in the Amazon forest. So I had a 4-day, 5-day kind of tour in the forest, and I was also camping in the forest for a night. And yeah, and the only thing I had an encounter with the crocodile was just on a night boat, where our guide was just you know, that we were traveling in a wooden boat, and our guide was just scanning through the river of Amazon River, and they were able to see the red eye of the crocodile. So then we get closer, and he was able to just grab it. He was able to tell the size from just scanning through the river. And then he was grabbing it, and he was telling us that, so he was grabbing it bare hands, and then he was telling us, you know, how it looked like, how to identify is that a girl or guy. And we were just, you know, trying to learn stuff. And then I was only holding the crocodile, but that was also a bit of shaking. That was a bit scary because there was no protection at all. Yeah, but unfortunately, I was not able to fight a crocodile. Otherwise, I think I'll be famous on the internet now. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's so great. That's such a nice story. But as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you fight crocodiles every day. So you are still a superhero in your own way. Um, okay, I think this was such an amazing conversation, and I'm really glad you joined us today. And everyone, please stay tuned with us. We will have more events like such. Join our WeChat group. Um, and yes, I think it would be really awesome to also help us and support us by filling the survey in the chat box if you like. And yes, thank you very much for joining us today. And thank you, Silu, for your amazing answers and for sharing your journey with us and for everything. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Andrea, and thank you everyone for having me here.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Thank you, everyone. See you. Bye bye.